my, the hate meter was on red. In fact, one of my guests here today, he texted me over the weekend and he called that show completely useless and it had no value. So I asked him to come on the show. And Okiya Omtatah Okoiti, being who he is, he agreed. My other good friend whose blogs you have to read, folks, because he calls it, let's face it, Robert Alai on Tech Mta, when he calls it without fear or favor, whether you're in the cross lines or not. It's Robert Alai. So tonight, at Robert Alai, at Okiya Omtatah, at Koinange Jeff, hashtag is JKL, and yes, we're continuing the conversation on leadership, patriotism, ethnicity. And right before the show, we're having a really amazing conversation. And maybe that's why Okiya was pissed off last week. And Okiya, I'll go to you. First of all, welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you both. Okiya, you were very angry when you sent me that text. You said, that show had zero value because you said we were deviating from the topic.
Yeah, you're discussing symptoms and not the problem. Because I personally do not believe there's tribalism in Kenya.
You don't?
I don't. There's no tribalism in Kenya. There's just mass poverty that is making people behave like animals, gang up and do all these funny things. So, and as I asked you, was the transatlantic slavery a racial problem or an economic problem?
Pure economics.
It was pure economics. So if you want to fix the tribal problem in Kenya, fix the economy, industrialize this country. That's all we need to do.
Alai, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I've not seen the kind of hate you have seen elsewhere. In Congo,
yes.
I've said,
yes,
situations where you see a tribe believes in eating another tribe.
Like literally eating?
Yes, the pygmies are almost extinct.
Correct.
In Congo, because the other tribes believe in eating them, so that the Wazungu's gun will not kill them. Yeah? In our campuses here, we have foreign students from Rwanda, from Burundi. The Hutus and Tutsis cannot sit in one class.
Cannot.
In some of their campuses.
Cannot.
But we are the same. We still go to the same Kikuyu shops. We go. When I'm going outside or when I go to my mechanic, I don't ask, are you Kikuyu or I just want repairs. I just want what I want.
Yes.
Yes. So ours is a struggle for resources.
So why are we so caustic when it comes to talking about ethnic issues? And like, for instance, on social media, the hate that I got this past week.
You should be hated. The problem is that you host two gentlemen.
Yes.
The problem with the gentlemen is that they were speaking pure hate. The problem with us is that some of us are trying to please the leaders to get favors. And that's what might have been happening. Ngujiri and Kenjiru might have been trying to please the president, maybe to get tenders. And that's the mistake we are making.
Yes.
Yes. The mistake we are making. Because the president needs not to make this government look like a Kikuyu government. This is a Kenyan government. And the president is a young man. If you are trying to make this, this whole thing tribal.
Yeah.
We are building the Kenyan nation on sand, and one day it will crumble. We are not as powerful as the Nazi German. We are not as powerful as Northern, British.
Yes.
It will crumble one day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree? Do you agree? This government, has it become very tribal? Has it become, what they say, a government of two ethnic groups?
Well, there's been an attempt to create a hegemony, an ethnic hegemony, Kalenjin, Kikuyu hegemony. But I don't think it can work because the average Kenyan is not really concerned about those things. If you look at the way we live, I live on a flat, for example, and you'll find almost every community of this country there. And we get on well, we meet and we hold community meetings on issues and that, and the issues of our identity does not come up. So to me, I look at that as a microcosm of this country. But what is happening is that leaders who are in power try to work up ethnic passions to hold on to power. Those who are looking for power will be struggling for that, because if the Jubilee government is creating a Kalenjin Kikuyu hegemony, then CORD will create a Luya Kamba hegemony. That's the sad thing, that CORD is a tribal organization, Jubilee is a tribal organization. And they have come into that because one day both of them lack ideas on how to make this country better than it is. If I may use the analogy of a prison, it's like they are wardens fighting of who becomes the chief warden. Yet some of us are fighting to destroy the prison. So when you destroy the prison, then they have no jobs. So they must keep in the prison. We asked for devolution. What did they say? Don't destroy the prison, but create compartments in the prison. Create a room for Koinange, create a room for Alai, create a room for so. So you see we have ended up with these counties that are largely dysfunctional because it's like partitioning a prison into rooms.
So you're saying devolution has not been a good thing?
No, devolution was a good idea, but it was messed up. When somebody just wakes up and says the colonial districts will become the counties, when the districts were created for purposes of domination and exploitation, we want to make them issues. And we tried to raise this when the constitution was coming up. Nobody listened. So we have got all these small units that are economically dysfunctional. They cannot work. We have got as many governors as the United States of America, and yet Kenya is almost the size of Texas or smaller. You see?
Yeah.
So this is where we wrote a constitution for who we are, not for who we ought to be. So there was no attempt to move the next step. So all that said and done, we also have got a major problem in the constitution. We have wrote a constitution for redistribution, not for production. There's too much talk about redistribution. And when you begin redistribution, that's when you begin getting people saying, now if it's a question of eating, who is eating on our behalf in that group? Then tribalism, who is eating on our behalf in that group? It's not about production. And I think we must begin addressing the question of production. How do we produce? When people campaign in Manifesto of CORD and you look at the Manifesto of Jubilee, we are going to create jobs. You can't create jobs. You create industry, then industry creates jobs. So we must look at where our entrepreneurs are. And the problem also goes back to the fact that today, if you look at the wealth that is in private hands, about only 1 to 2% is out of enterprise. 99% is out of theft from the public coffers. That's a major problem.
And they get away with it.
They get away with it.
Alai, let me ask you this.
Yes.
So you get into power, it's our turn to eat.
Yes.
And the other guys say, we need to get in there so that we can eat.
Yes.
What's the solution?
I think the solution is that we try to tribalize. What Okiya was trying to say is that we make this presidency not a tribal presidency. You know, the saddest thing you see, even the distribution of the cabinet secretaries, 19 positions, but 12 are occupied by 2 tribes. Even the 2 tribes are crying among themselves. They are complaining. If you go to the boards of parastatals, leave alone the heads. The heads, they might want to have their supporters, but the boards, you still have even the board members. Almost some of the parastatals have a single ethnic group, like 99%. Even the new appointments the president is making, he made the KC appointment recently. That commission. What is the president doing? Seriously.
Is he being misadvised, Alai?
He's not being misadvised. I don't believe this thing of being misadvised.
Is he currying favors? Does he owe people favors, maybe?
Yes, the president owes people favors. But that's the mistake he's making. He needs to know that he's the president. And no, he's the president of an Ogek in a forest somewhere or in a village somewhere. He's a president of a Luo in Nyanza. He's a president of Swahili in Coast. He's the president of everybody.
Yeah.
So you need to not make his ethnicity look important above anybody else, because you realize the issue of Peketoni. It happened.
Yes.
All the government resources were mobilized.
Right.
What happened to others? Turkana is happening every day. People are killed in tens and hundreds every day.
Wajir, Garissa.
Yes, nobody's talking about it because they are not a powerful ethnic group.
That's the bottom line.
Yes.
And I think the problem there, design is a very important thing. Like if you look at this tent, the way it is designed, the curves and what, if you design this tent this way, it will not, even with the same structures, it will not stand, it will collapse. So it's a question of design, and I think we have got a faulty design in the way we elect our president. In that, the nature of the election is that people are able to mobilize on an ethnic basis. So, the reality of the matter is that Uhuru is a president today because Kikuyus and Kalenjins voted for him. Luos did not vote for him. Luis hardly voted for him. Kamba didn't vote for him. So, with that reality, then if he has to give something back, he will give something back to those who voted for him so that they re-elect him tomorrow.
Okay.
So we must create a design that does not make it possible for somebody to rely on a tribe.
Is there such a design?
There's such a design. There's the one we're trying to push in M4M, what you are saying. Article 138 of the Constitution needs to be amended so that we can elect our president at the level of the counties, not at Bomas, whereby a Kikuyu in Lodwar, a Kikuyu in Busia, a Kikuyu in Mombasa can say all we care about is the top vote. And the same happens to Eluya, the same happens to Kamba, the same happens to Kalenjin, the big tribes. So when they say that all they care about is the big vote, then you create a platform where tribalism, where people who have no ideas will mobilize people on ethnic prejudices to try and get power or to lock others out of power. But if we break that thing down and make an election whereby each county, we break the presidency into 47 counties. And whether you belong to whichever tribe, you will vote in a county and your vote will be weighted in the county. It's not counted nationally. And the counties have got their numbers and have got the points. Almost the way the American college system works.
College system.
But then this one, we just finish it, we weight the points there, then we add up.
Alai, can that work?
No, I see. And even the design of the counties, you know, why did we have to have 47 counties? Because like every ethnic group has a county, and that's a big problem. I saw the design here, but I don't believe in designs. You know, designs are just people. You know, if the president decides to be tribal, he'll be tribal.
Yeah.
If today I decide, Jeff, I say that I don't want tribalism in my organization, I don't want. Yeah, nobody will. The president is the most powerful man on this land.
The buck stops with him.
The buck stops with him. He must. So the issues that somebody is misadvising him.
Yes.
The design is very wrong.
Everything is about.
The design is very wrong.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is that the president should take charge and make the changes, realizing, you know, because, you know, the president, we had President Moi, we had President Kenyatta, we had President Kibaki. They had their degrees of ethnicity. But what we are witnessing today is extreme.
Tell me something. If Raila was president today,
yes,
you don't think there will be...
He might have gone the Uhuru way, but that does not make Uhuru right.
Right.
Yes. Uhuru just must... He's the president now. Raila is not the president. Raila could have made the same mistake, but the president now in this time and of the day is Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes.
Yeah, design is everything.
You're sticking to your design.
Yeah.
By the way, let me ask you this. This referendum by cord, this was originally your referendum. This was...
Well, I was the first person to begin talking about a referendum. And I'm sure they're going to end up where my ideas were. The only thing that you can amend in that constitution right now is Article 138 on how you elect the president.
That's the only thing that can be amended.
Can be amended right now with the universal support. You cannot go to a referendum about how many people have been sacked in the government or what have you. It will not work.
Or insecurity, bread and butter.
You can't.
So this is the only one.
The only thing that can work is the thing we need.
Can it pass?
No, do not even go to a referendum. It will pass in parliament. There will be no need for a referendum.
Come on.
It will pass in parliament.
Come on.
I'm telling you. Because it's about the safety of numbers, not the tyranny of numbers. The complete opposite, which every Kenyan aspires to be safe, to be happy, to live anywhere in this country. But I'm trying to go back to the question of design. If I build a self-contained house, Jeff, and I put the toilet in the living room, it's not going to work.
Right in the middle?
Yeah, it will not work.
No.
So you must put the toilet where it belongs. So we must design this thing in such a way that it's not about the goodwill of an individual. It must be that even little Lamu, a county like Lamu, must have a say in the presidency. They may not be able to produce a president, but they must have the power to block one from being a president. So when you have that way, then the power base of a president is not a tribe, but the consensus is able to mobilize.
Yeah, but is that possible in a country like Kenya? Alai?
Yeah.
42 different ethnic groups.
It is very possible.
Huh?
It's very possible.
I
because
believe
there's no dominant. There's no...
Hold on, Alai.
I still believe that the person who is on top is everything.
That is the person.
He can make the change if he wants to. He can bring the change he wants to. When Moi decided that we should repeal section 2A, it went. You know, if you want to be good, you'll be good. If you want to be a bad person, you'll be a bad person. It depends on what legacy you want to leave. But the thing I tell you is that how old is Uhuru now?
He's 52, 53.
Yes. So if nothing happens wrong, everybody will go. Kibaki, Njonjo, all these old men will go. But they leave you to live another 30 or 40 years seeing Kenya burn while you are president one time and you are able to reverse or protect this nation from burning. But you're seeing, you see the Security Council, the National Security Council, it's all, you know, almost a single ethnic group.
Yeah.
You go to the cabinet, you know, you go to the position the president is making, and it's very wrong when the president comes to make noise to people who are complaining against his actions. He should realize that there's a problem. And, you know, the best thing is that he should make the change.
He should make that change.
The easiest.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a break, come back, talk a lot more. This referendum, Article 138. But you don't want to take credit for it, eh?
No, I never take credit for anything. I'm a simple man, guys.
Simple man with a lovely shirt.
You should see my wardrobe.
Yeah.